understand. Okay. So now if you see here, this is my inbox. When I have come to the inbox, I have primary, social, promotions, updates, and forums. Now, these are the different scenarios, primary, secondary, or whatever the social and all these things, right? Social and so social, promotions, and update. So now if you see here, that's the promotions and then update. Now I have the 4 classification. Now, on the primary, I'll write my test cases. On social, I'll write my test cases. On promotions, I'll write the test case. On updates, I'll write the test cases. If you see here, inbox is a requirement. Under the inbox requirement, I split it up. What are the next for what scenarios I need to write it, and for each scenario, I split it up into the particular test cases. So this is what a test scenario and a test cases. Test scenarios are at a high level. From the high level, these test scenarios, test cases would be derived back. And these test scenarios would be derived from the requirements. So first we will split up one level high, and then we will go to the detailed level of test cases. So this is what we are splitting up from the requirements to the scenarios to the test cases. Now, once you created these particular test cases, now I have been created the test case 1, test cases 2, like that I have created 1,000 test cases I have been created. When I have created the 1,000 test cases, I wanted to group this particular test cases. Yesterday we have been discussed, right? Hey, high priority bugs means what it's a showstopper test cases. Now, here the classification of this particular test cases is called test enumeration. I went for an interview with Amazon. So not now, so before 5 years. At that time, I have approximately 10 to 12 years of experience. Now, when I have this, I went for the Amazon. They asked me, can you do the enumeration? I went to the position for architect. When I went for an architect position means I'll be creating all the high level frameworks and all this stuff and all. You name any tool, we used to work on that tool. So what I'm trying to say here is, any big company, you name Amazon, Freshworks, Google, any company, if you attended for the interviews, they will ask you to write the test cases. And they will ask you to segregate, which is called as an enumeration. See, I went for the position for an automation architect. Means what is my job? Day in, day out, I need to write the code. I need to create the framework architectures, doing a lot of other stuff which related to the coding. But the first round of interview, they given me an application and they asked me how you will test the complete application and how you write the test cases, all the positive scenarios and the negative scenarios. And then they asked me, do the test case enumeration. Enumeration is nothing but classification. Classification is nothing but, hey, this falls into the smoke. This falls into the regression. You remember, right? What is a smoke testing? What is a regression testing?
Yes, sir.
I'm very afraid to ask you the question. Okay. However, so we have the smoke test cases, regression test cases. Now, what I'll try to do, I'll group the test cases. Hey, I bring back all my test cases, all related to the smoke test cases. I'll keep it into the smoke, and all related to the regression, I'll keep it into the regression. So this is called smoke suit and regression suit. So now what it meant means we are just classifying all these particular test cases into certain groups. Because whenever I wanted to run the smoke test cases, first I'll call the smoke to run. When I want the regression cases, I'll call the regression and then I'll run. So this is how the smoke and regression would be taken and then it would be done. So test suite is nothing but it's a group of test cases. Pretty simple. A group of test cases is called as a test suite. So now you understood, right? From the user stories and the requirements, I'll try to drill down into the test scenarios. And when have these particular test cases into the scenarios, from the requirements, I derive the scenarios. And from the scenarios, I'll derive the test cases. And once I created the test cases, from there, I'll create the test suites, like a smoke suite, regression, high level, low level, medium level. That's how I create that particular test suites. According to this particular test suites, whenever I required, I'll pull out that and I'll start doing the execution. So this is how these particular things would be executed. So user stories to scenarios, user scenarios to the cases, cases to the test suits. So this is what the differences between them all. Now, usually we will not use this, but for your understanding, I just wanted to say that. What do you mean by use case? So now people will be asking that use case diagrams. So the use case means how the use case diagram would be. If you see here, this is what the use case and test case. See, the people you usually ask in an interview. So if he's a very traditional guy who is doing the interviewer, so the interviewer will ask you this particular question. Interviewer will ask you this question: what is the difference between a use case and then a test case? See, now what in the use case, what I'm trying to do, I drawn a picture of driver. Actually, he drives the vehicle. Okay, so now what are the things he need to do? Drive the vehicle, he starts the vehicle, accelerate, steer it, brake. Or the driver can go for the park and do it. Means for a particular user, what are the different use cases he can do it? Now, this would be the representation in the pictures. But whereas in the test case, what we will try to do?
Step by step guide to achieve.
We will
step by step process.
write the things. That's a basic difference between a use case and a test case. If you see here, now the user, he actually, this image is not so clear. So now if you see here, now he is a student. Student can obtain a student grant and student loan, reimbursement fee, pay fee. And these are the financial institutes. So they will provide these all financial things to this. Now a student can drop out from the school and he can graduate from the school. And from a student, he can enroll into the seminar, drop the seminar, attend the seminar, finish the seminar. So now a particular user, he can do this all, right? Now from the financial, he can do this all. So now you need to understand that a student can write these for a student. These are the possible test cases he can write it from the financial side, and from the school dropping and graduating, he have these test cases, and seminar he have this particular test cases. So this is how we will be drawing this picture, and from this picture we will derive the test cases. So this is a pictographical representation to understand the system very well. See, now by seeing this one, how fast you have been understood this? Else, if I given you a test case document, can you understand these all scenarios at one shot without reading? Or within 2 minutes, can you understand all these complete scenarios? But with this use case, can you understand this all? Hey, student have this to do, this to do, this to do, and financial guy need to do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Can we understand within 2-3 minutes maximum, or 5 minutes? But whereas in the test case, I need to read everything and do it. But what is the problem here is it is a time-taking process. But if you wanted to follow the standards, first you need to go through the use case diagram. And these are called as use case diagrams. So once you created this use case diagrams, you will understand each and everything. What are the roles, different roles present in the system, and what are the different activities performed each role, so that you will understand it very well. And from this, if you derive the test cases, it will be much more clear. So that is called a use case and the test case, differences between them.
Sir, even this use case, I don't know if it is into the market now, but when we are actually going to start creating these use cases while finalizing the requirements itself?
It's very simple. So now if you go here, requirements, from the requirements itself, when you're analyzing and you are doing the designing, use case designing will be done here. See, that is where design, you're designing a complete structure, right? All how the table should be there and all the things would be there. See, that is the reason. If you clearly understand your SDLC, everything would be mapped to it. See, now these are different dots, but always you remember these dots are connected. So that's the reason you should know what do you mean by SDLC, STLC, everything you should understand. Then only you'll understand. See, now it's very simple. But if you understand this one, requirement gathering, analysis, designing. In the designing, I'll write my use cases. According to the use case, this use case is not only for the tester, this use case for the developer also. See, developer and we are in the same understanding. Hey, now the developer will, hey, this guy will be doing this, and this guy will be doing this, this guy will be doing this. According to this, the developer will do development of the code. Tester will write test cases, test cases.
Yeah.
So now once the test case is written, it will go for the test suits. So now this is where this particular designing phase, the use cases will comes into the picture. So use cases are the pictographical representation of the complete functionalities. Who are the users? Who are the roles? And what are the responsibilities? So everything it will be represented in the pictographical way. And then that can be easy for the developers to understand and develop the code, and then easy for the testers to write that particular test cases. So this is called use case and how it will be done. So that is what the differences between a requirement and test scenario, test case, test suite, and a use case. Are we clear with this?
Yes.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Now, the most important thing which we have been missed here over is to the continuation of, it's not missed, but we should continue on this one, the TCLC. See, now we have been discussed about DLC and SDLC. And here two things which we have, I think already Pina has been told that SDLC, software testing lifecycle, bug lifecycle, software development lifecycle, and TCLC and ACLC, automation lifecycle. So you need to understand how this is interlinked. There is a diagram, I think Pina already shared with you. And once again, if you want to—
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have it.
SDLC, for everything, this is what the mother, software development lifecycle. In the software development lifecycle, we will be having requirement gathering, analysis, design, and coding, testing, and deployment, and the maintenance. Now, here is what the birth of SDLC. So now, software testing lifecycle. When we start the birth of this one, we'll have the software testing lifecycle. In the software testing lifecycle, when I have gathered this particular requirements, I'll explain about this one. And in this particular requirement and then designing this one. So at that point of time in the design phase, it will go for TCLC. So now as part of TCLC, this will give the birth for two more things, which is bug life cycle and automation life cycle. So these are the life cycles which you need to understand. Now we are into this. We are going to discuss about the test life cycle. So now we have been discussed about the SDLC already. Now here I'll be talking quickly about the SDLC and the TCLC so that it can have the join for this particular thing. Else, first I'll start with this. It is very easy to understand, and then I'll interconnect this one. Now, test case life cycle. So the test cases means you have written the test cases. For writing this particular test cases, there would be a life cycle. So how to write that particular test case? Anyone gone through that? Okay, so
Yes, sir.
TCLC. So if you see this particular images, it will be very easy to understand. Okay, so now first requirement analysis, testing, test planning, test case development, test environment setup, test execution, test closure. Actually, this is not so detailed. I'll just try to let you know what is IEEE standard. See, IEEE is a body which defines the standards across the things. Okay, we do have a standard called IEEE 829. So this standard will talk how to prepare the test plan. And according to this, how to prepare the test cases, this particular standard with this particular number, it has been derived that how to derive the test cases and how to derive the test plan, how to do this. Now, for an example, test cases. Now, the first one is for everything, the requirement analysis from the SDLC phase, we will understand the complete requirements. Now, here, the next one is the test planning. So that is the test case planning. And here the test case
Test designing.
creation. Okay, so it will go for the design. And after this particular design, it will go for test case creation.
Creation.
And after the creation, then it will go
Review.
for review.
Review.
And once after the review, then it will go for the execution. And here the people will say that environment setup and all. That would be okay, but that's not the part of the test case life cycle, right? So now these are the basic life cycle, the different phases of the test case life cycle. What do you mean by test case life cycle? As I told you, right? So in the SDLC also, every human have the life cycle. The software have a life cycle. Now, how to write a test case also have a life cycle. Now, this is what that particular life cycle which we are talking about it. Requirement gathering. So requirement gathering, analyzing, and all those things will be there. Means I'll gather, hey, I wanted to write my test cases for my inbox. Now for this particular inbox, I need to write all my test cases. Now, when I taken these particular test cases, now I need to plan the test planning. See, test planning is nothing but here it is where the test plan comes into the picture. Means what are the test cases or what type of testings I need to perform. Hey, I need to do the positive scenarios, negative scenarios. I need to write for smoke test cases, regression test cases, and then I need to write for the BV test cases or BVT test cases. All these things I'll be preparing that particular things. Hey, I wanted to do this. These all categories of testing with the positive and the negative scenarios. I have to do it. And if someone not understand what is smoke regression and this, please do refer to your previous videos, different type of testings. Now we will write, means according to that, the first we will plan that particular test. Now what we will be doing is the planning and the designing. See now, majority of the people will merge planning and designing. They will not have the different structures. So planning, what I'll try to do, see, I'll give you an example. Now I wanted to go for Barcelona. So now when I wanted to go there, first I'll plan myself. Hey, I wanted to first go, I'll take my flight ticket and I'll do hotel. I stay for 10 days in Barcelona. So I wanted to go for River Ungara, and then I wanted to stay there, and then I wanted to stay near the Blue Sea, and I wanted to say White Sand, Blue Sea, where the places are there. I wanted to take a resort there. I wanted to stay there, and then from there I wanted to go for blue houses, all the blue houses where it is there. I wanted to go to that. If you're seeing it, so you're planning and then you're designing your trip. Hey, first day where I need to stay, second day where I need to stay, third day where I need to stay, fourth day I need to stay, and how I need to return back from there. So you are making a plan, and in your plan you are designing that. Your planning is, hey, I need to go for there and I visit the places, and what are the things when to visit those places. So that is what you're designing. If day one I need to visit this, day two I need to visit this, day three I need to visit this. The same way, when you're testing some application, you should able to know that, hey, this is what my requirement. So now first I need to test this all. So when I'm testing this one, I need to test all my positive scenarios, negative scenarios. I need to cover all my smoke, regression, usability, and stability, recovery. All these categories of testings I need to perform, and I need to test this. So those all things will be planning it. Right? So that is what the test case planning and designing. So always merge this phase into a single phase. Now, once you have been planned, then you start to execute it. So now what you'll do, you will book your flight tickets, and then you will do that. You will all means what the day one where I need to book, day two where I need to book, all my cabs and all my tickets in booking. So that is what the creation. So it means once you designed and plan, you start to create your test cases. Yesterday you have been created in the Excel sheet, right? There are many tools to do this. So instead of Excel, so when before 15 years, we used to 10 years or 12 years, we used to use the Excel. Nowadays, there are many tools in the market. The tools are like TestRail, X-Ray, and Zypher, and Qtest. There are multiple tools out there. So these tools are called as test case management tools, which is called TMT, test case management tools. Now, whatever you have written in the Excel sheet, there you'll have a user interface. In that particular user interface, you can see that, and then you can test them. So that is how the test case management tool will be there. Rather than maintaining in the Excel sheet, you will be having certain tools to do that. So that is how you will be creating all your test cases. Once you created your test cases, these particular test cases would be reviewed. Means your team lead will come, and then here you'll have two type of reviews. One is test lead will come and then review that, hey, whether you have written your positive cases, negative cases, these all things are done or not. For an example, there would be guidelines for this. So if you see here, if at all you wanted to test a UI, so now what are the guidelines you need to follow for this? We can have a clear cut information. See, for an example, if it is a checkbox, there are 15 validations you need to do. If it is a drop down, so these are all validations you need to do. And if it is a list box, what the validation? If it is a button, what the validation? If it is a text field, date picker, breadcrumb, page nation, search fields, windows, and it accordions. And if you have any particular object, GUI object, so these are all validations you need to do it. So that is how the this would be a checklist for the team lead. And according to this particular checklist, they will be reviewing your document by the test lead. At the same point of time, the functional lead or tech lead will be there. So this particular tech lead will check whether the functionality is covered or not. So this guy will check from the testing point of view. This guy will be coming from the functional point of view. He will check whether all the functionalities are covered or not. So that is what he will check. And he will check from the complete these things, hey, whether it is completely covered from all the different scenarios or not. So once he understands that these things, everything is okay, they will give the comments. According to the comments, the enhancement of this particular test cases will be done. Once after that enhancements, then this will go for test execution. So in this particular execution, so now I have all these 100 test cases written. Now the test cases would be tested. If at all there is a bug in that particular test cases, then it will go for the bug life cycle. So in the bug life cycle, I'll go for new, open, fixed, retested, and then closed. If it is reopened or other phases which we have been discussed as part of our bug life cycle. So this is how on the execution, the bug life cycle will be derived. Now these test cases are executed. Now I wanted at least 1 to 2 cycles of manual testing should be completed. Then only it should go for the automation life cycle. You see how it is nicely connected with each other. So now we understood this particular part very clearly, and we have understood this SDLC, and then now it came to the TCLC, from TCLC to the bug life cycle and the automation life cycle. So this is how the test case life cycle would be designed. And according to that, whatever the test cases which you have written, so this is part of your test case creations. So this is how this would be done. So this is what the test case life cycle. So tomorrow, once again, I'll quickly read from the SDLC. Go through when you're coming back tomorrow, you need to go through that, the connecting of SDLC, STLC, TCLC, BCLC, and ACLC. You visit that and come back. And tomorrow the same, once again, I'm saying that test plan, test estimations. Visit this and come back to the tomorrow session. Once again, I'm saying that I'm saying every day to visit these videos and come back to the session. You are repeating the same thing. Don't do that again back. So come back, you do revisit the complete interlinking of this STLCs and these things, test plan and estimations, so that we will discuss about these pointers tomorrow.
Sir, I want to add something here.
Hey, just give me 1 second. I'm joining, man. I'm joining. Give me 2 minutes. Okay. So that's what for today's class. So
sir, I wanted to say something here.
Go ahead.
Guys who are having any issues while reading all those videos, please do contact with Pinna sir to clarify your doubts or connect to